This land was Mexican once, was Indian always, and is and will be again.
At an upscale home, deputies busted down the door yesterday at a suspected drop house in Phoenix. They took about 50 illegal immigrants into custody and a few suspected smugglers. It is possible the smugglers were holding the immigrants against their will. Sheriff's officials say this is the third drop house uncovered in the area this past week.
To tell you the truth, I was just counting the time. I was like, it's going to pop up here somewhere. It's already popped up in Scottsdale, Paradise Valley. Doesn't matter the neighborhood you live in, it's just got to watch out.
Deputies found one person dead inside the home and a pregnant woman had to be taken to a hospital. Deputies say it looked like she'd been abused by the smugglers.
Liberation will be won. When yo nace la fuerza, matamos la pobreza, destruyendo la riqueza. Yo, it's gotta stop, it's gotta come down. From me, Muguruza, Aslan underground, organizing, exercising. If we liberate alone, then what will come? Embargoes and scapegoats will be the outcome. To rid the world of truth, but if all the nation of the world come together, revolutionize, organize, dialogue, put it south to the sea forever. So it's like being in the hood when you scrap, but this time it's nations coming together, got each other's back. Listen to Scotty, Nawak, Africa, Asia. Liberation will be won. Hasta la victoria siempre.
Publicana nik esana esan tonreizak burua Urtez kolonizatzen ari naiz kasu Nazio bat ibiltaria naukazu Izten dut eskua ukabila altxatuz Nirekin bazaude oraino jukatu Gurekin bazaude oraino jukatu Gora esan nahi dut Bostatzen bost kontinenteak batu Gora esan nahi dut Edo zentokitan ditu behar jagun Sustraiak sakonak dira Baina honetan oinako doletan begira lurralde honekin badut lotura Sentimentak idiota udana baria hizkuntzarekin identifika Esan alzuen hori zarri hona indiak espesoak zuen esana Nire nazioa da portugera mintzaira eta mendu zuen proposamena Izkuz menpekotasunaren aurrean estrategia simboliko jarkiera Egiturazko paradarik izatean orduan dakusak beraien izua Haustura kulturala eritioten beldurra euskal planetaren beldur direla Isa batez dira saltzen aizkorak Zorrozturik daude hitz egitean Independentzia edo aurkitzean Apaldurak edo gehiagikeriak Desenpleguak edo zentzura Polizi prepotentzi basakeria Berrezkatzen du furi eskubidea Mina eta irezko aizeruntzia Eta bideiken dut munduan zehar Klase borroka oraindik sentitzen dela Eta edozen gizapide lorpena Aurretik aritu behar izan duela greba Horregatik naukazu hemen gerran Sistemaren kontra hau da nire karrera Resistentzia baita gainera Erne iraunkor bateko egoera
All roads now they're leading to one place Revolution for the mind, don't matter what the race For direction blows a wind, now we're blessed From the north, the south, the east and the west With the common struggle now we unify the colors Red, yellow, black, white, we're all brothers In the fight against a neoliberal greed With words and music, we spread that word against the seed And plant it down, deep in the earth Minds across the world, now we're ready for the rebirth The change for the good, you know it's coming soon Rising from the earth, now we're born from the womb
Burua, urtez kolonizatzen ari naiz kasu Nazio bat ibiltaria naukazu Izten dut eskua ukabila altxatuz Nirekin bazaude oraino jukatu Nirekin bazaude oraino jukatu Gora esan nahi dut Bostatzen bost kontinenteak batu Gora esan nahi dut Edo zentokitan ditu
Reconocemos toda la gente en lucha por la libertad, para la dignidad y para la humanidad. Daekana Mishika, Aslan.
Nirekin bazaude oraino jugatu, gurekin bazaude oraino jugatu. Gora esan nahi dut, bostatzen bost kontinenteak batu. Gora esan nahi dut, edozein tokitan ditutea jagun.
And Congressman Henry Cuellar, excuse me, I've got bullcrap in my throat, must be feeling the heat in Laredo. Over the weekend, Cuellar called in the reinforcements, and I guess the best he could do was House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who I hear is mighty popular these days. She came into town Saturday for a tour of one of Laredo's bridge crossings into Mexico. The bridges are just one of the way the drug gangs in Mexico get their merchandise, quote unquote, into the U.S. Joining me now is Texas State Senator Dan Patrick. Dan is also a talk radio host on KSEV 700 AM in Houston, my new affiliate in Houston. Dan, first of all, did she even mention the kidnapped Americans, 21 of which are still missing?
Not to my knowledge, Glenn.
No.
She was focused on the colonias, you know, these areas of poverty.
Yeah.
And I've toured the colonias, and what I find interesting, Glenn, is I was with an African-American legislator on my last trip down to the border, going through a colonia, and he said, you know, Dan, we've got neighborhoods worse than this in Houston. And
Yeah.
I would say probably New York, Detroit, Appalachia, and all around America. She focused on these poor neighborhoods, and she didn't focus on the poor, kidnapped Americans.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? 21. No. Do we know any place else in the country where 21 Americans are still missing from being kidnapped and nobody is making mention of this?
No, we're not making mention of it because it's embarrassing to the Bush administration. It's embarrassing to the Democrats. It's embarrassing to those local officials along the border. Our government should be trying to find our citizens.
Yeah.
You know, the last time I was with you, Glenn, I said I can't imagine any city in the country where there's been 60 kidnappings in the last 10 years,
Yeah.
more or less 60 kidnappings
Sure.
in this one area in the last couple of years. And what Nancy should have been doing was asking questions of the mayor, of the county officials, of the FBI, of the Border Patrol. What are we doing to protect American citizens, most of which, by the way, are Mexican-American legal citizens
Right.
who have been kidnapped?
But she was also, Dan, very, very busy to make sure that, and I love this is the story of the day, that the Salvation Army
Yes.
must hire people, and companies cannot fire people who cannot speak English.
Yeah, what's amazing about this story, Glenn, is there's a bill in Congress that would remove the alternative minimum tax, which is going to impact 22 million middle American families with about $2,000 more in taxes on average per family.
That's good.
And the Hispanic Democrats in Congress are holding that up hostage unless Nancy stops an amendment from Lamar Alexander that he passed in the Senate that's now over to the House that would protect employers from being sued by the government of all people, the EEOC, by requiring their employees to speak English. And this case comes from Massachusetts, where the Salvation Army fired 2 people because they didn't speak English on the job. Now, I'm a small business person as well as a state senator, and I think I should have a right to require my employees to speak English. How about my rights?
Listen to me, Dan, thank you so much for coming. America, this is why you watch Dancing with the Stars, because at least that makes some sense.